In our poster, we aim to take a closer look at the quantum group theoretic structure underlying the double-scaled SYK model, in order to better understand features of Hilbert space factorization and brane amplitudes in the SYK. This model can be understood as an all-energy limit of the well-known SYK model, and can be solved exactly using combinatorial tools known as chord diagrams. The DSSYK model is especially exciting because it has features of a holographic discretized bulk dual, and also, in a low-energy regime, reproduces exactly the holographic duality we understand in near ADS2. Over the last few years, it was understood that the exact amplitudes we can calculate in this model can also be reproduced from quantum group theoretic approaches, and we aim to take a closer look at this.
The specific group proposed by Barcusa and collaborators is known as the quantum-deformed SYK 1,1 isometry group of the quantum disk. We propose a slight modification in terms of the SLQ2R twisted star Hopf algebra. Now, this is just fancy wording to say that we alter the star relations to implement the gravitational boundary conditions. On a technical level, we construct the principal series co-representations which act on the target space in terms of quantum Möbius transformations. Now, this formula, of course, looks very similar to the classical counterpart for the principal series representations of SL2R. We then reproduce the known gravitational two-sided wave functions as matrix elements evaluated in these representations. The choice of our gauge group then allows to relate the bulk discretization directly in terms of irreducibility of the submodules. We can now use this representation theory to study non-trivial amplitudes in more detail. As a first concrete example, we will derive the conjectured end-of-the-world-brane amplitudes on a trumpet geometry. As in applications of JT gravity, these amplitudes are related to characters of the specific quantum deformed group. In particular, the principal series characters are related to the defect that implements the trumpet geometry, whereas the highest weight discrete series characters are related to the brane degrees of freedom. An open question is now to interpret these branes as real particles moving on a putative bulk geometry. Additionally, we aim to use these characters to better understand double-scale SYK on higher non-trivial topologies.
Another interesting class of amplitudes that we can tackle using these quantum group theoretic approaches are one-sided wave functions describing the physics of observers living outside the horizon. We can then use these amplitudes to factorize the two-sided Hilbert space along entangling surfaces in the bulk, which leads to the introduction of a new label S in the interior that can formally be viewed as counting microstates consistent with the macroscopic properties measured by an outside observer. Technically, this is achieved via the coproduct of representation matrices, and in the case of double-scaled SYK, leads to one-sided wave functions that can be written in terms of combinations of Q-Pochomer symbols, and an extra label S that can be viewed as diagonalizing the Cartaz subgroup of the quantum group. While in JT gravity, for example, we can assign a direct geometric meaning to these labels living on a geometric horizon in the bulk, it would be very interesting to see if a similar interpretation is possible in the putative bulk dual of DSSYK. In conclusion, we see that the application of this quantum group theoretic structure underlying double-scale SYK can lead to the computation of interesting and highly non-trivial amplitudes that may be complicated to derive in other approaches.